So I've had the opportunity to work with this. So the Blackmagic 6K cinema camera. I want to go about my thoughts and my opinions about this camera right here. This camera right here is a strange beast. It's a strange tool in the whole world of filmmaking. When this came out, it was very interesting. I was surprised in like what a body like this can finally do. What a body like this can now film. This thing can film in 6K RAW. That just like amazes me how technology from my Canon 6D Mark II right now to this thing right here can now shoot at 6K RAW. Basically, the size of my 6D right now is basically the same size as this, and this thing can shoot better than my 6D Mark II. But I want to go over just a little bit of my opinions about it because it is such a strange tool, but it also is almost like the future is looking really good for the size of now what we can do. Recently, I went on a trip to Kenya. I was going on a documentary shoot, and this is the camera we rented for this shoot. And I want to go over one of my basic thoughts about it or just maybe 3 points about why I think this camera is kind of in that it's almost there. It's not all the way there. In my opinion, there is something that I would love for it to do, but it doesn't. Mainly, I would like to do is to be able to have better battery life. I think everybody on YouTube I've seen has like just said this camera just absolutely eats through every LPS69 battery or LPS6 battery on them ever. And I whenever I was recording all my interviews in 6K RAW, I basically went through all my batteries, and I was like, I had to tell my producer like, listen, I'm out of batteries, and we're in the middle of almost nowhere in Kenya, and there's no power to charge my batteries, and so sadly that I couldn't film any more interviews. I had to do all the interviews I got and how to use them. Also, I really don't mind, like, I understand like the bit rate and how fast SD cards need to be, and I really do like the fact that you do have an APS-C port to do this, but I would love to see another format added to this camera that where you can do SD cards like say 4K on SD card a bit better. I do not like how whenever I was shooting, I think I had the worst experience with this camera because for one, I forgot a couple things while shooting, and also I didn't really plan out what I'm doing. Currently, we're just testing out this camera for the job I do, and we wanted to see what we can get out of this camera. So the second point I want to say is that storage is a complicated thing. I think you're going to run into the problem is that you're going to have to find more storage to run with. So I was like kind of like having a little anxiety, like where am I going to store this footage in the middle of Kenya? And so what I had to do was plan out so that I could have enough storage, external storage, to put all my data onto it, because I was recording at RAW 6K, and those files are actually humongous. I think the whole video shoot along 8 days of filming, I came up with about 1 terabyte of raw video. That is a lot of data, and especially just from this thing alone. And I don't know how much of that that footage I can use. And so I have to understand that with this type of workflow, you're gonna need a lot of storage. So to reflect on my points is that one, this camera, you're gonna need a lot of batteries to power this camera, or you're gonna have to have some type of external battery pack, and you're gonna have to build it out bigger than actually it is. My second point is that you're gonna have to have a lot of storage for this camera. This camera shoots at 6K RAW, and you're gonna need external storage to store all your data and be able to store that somewhere else. My last point is that I wish this was full frame. I have a thing about getting as much data as I can. With the 60 Mark II being full frame and recording at this quality, I would love for a camera to be this form factor and to maybe have a full frame sensor. Maybe I'm just nitpicking on the format of this camera, but these are my opinions, that you're going to need a lot of batteries, you're going to need a lot of storage, and I wish it had a bigger sensor size. So, but however, this is getting better. The form factor of this is better than a Canon C100 and C200. The form factor of this is better than my Canon Mark II that I can film at 6K resolution at that size. So the next iteration, the next generation of this camera will be better. So I hope Blackmagic sees this video, and maybe you have an opinion about this camera and you're thinking about buying it. It's at a good price right now, and I believe it's going to get better. So what I say to you, if you're going to purchase this camera, I'd say just wait. I would say if you want to try it out, rent it first, like I did. I rented through apparent.com. They're an excellent rental service, and they're not sponsoring this video, but they are just good at what they do. But renting this camera is more I recommend for now than just going and purchasing it. You got to know your workflow, and I know my workflow, and I love the form factor of my 6D Mark II, and I don't want to compromise on that size. So I would just rent the camera and see how you feel about it before purchasing it. But thank you guys for watching the end of this video and my opinions. I know they're probably a little bit scattered, but I love to see your opinion about this 6K Mark II and how interesting of a camera in this market is now. So if you guys would leave a comment and a like, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, that'd be awesome. I'll see you guys in the next one.